Oh, nation. We are keeping it neat tonight. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. Why? Because of this little sample right here. And maybe you can read what's on that. This is 25-year-old Buffalo Trace, and I'm tasting it right now in just a second, in a hot second. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, stoked to have you guys. There's a lot more where this came from, and you know what to do. Just subscribe, okay? Do that. Do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and then you'll get to see me taste stuff. Shout out to Derek W., Patreon supporter. You can also support on Patreon. There's a link in the show notes below. Derek sponsored today's video by providing a sample. You can also sponsor a video by providing a sample. You don't need to be a Patreon supporter to do that, but I think Derek may have just outdone the whole wide world in providing a 2-ounce sample of OFC, Old Fashioned Copper, 90 proof, 25-year-old Buffalo Trace. Let's get into this thing. This is the 2019 release. There have been, I don't know, 6 or so releases of OFC. And these releases make up like the oldest stuff that Buffalo Trace has ever released. This one, when it dropped with a, relatively modest MSRP of $2.5 bajillion. In all seriousness, $2,500 MSRP for this bottle. That means that this 2-ounce sample was worth a heck ton of money. So thank you, Derek, neatest member of Nation, at least this week. Which means it's also pretty special for me to be able to taste. If you're a Buffalo Trace fanboy, this is a bucket list pour, so I'm absolutely thrilled to get into it. I tasted a little bit before. I just wanted to make sure I was a little amped up. I didn't want to spend 40 minutes just going like, oh my gosh. I want to have some prep work done. This is now my second go with this bad boy. But it is very, very special. I don't take that for granted at all. So thank you very much, Derek. Thank you, Nation. People watching. You're all very, very cool. So, Old Buffalo Trace, tater bait. It comes in a glorious bottle, crystal bottle in a fantastic wood box. It's a posh whiskey. It is targeted to people who want to spend a buttload of money to have this on their shelf, show it off. I mean, in my opinion, it's like what a millionaire would drink to show that they're a millionaire, but they also like bourbon because it's pretty good. Spoiler alert. If you watch the show, you know I'm not a 90 proof hater. It's not my favorite proof point. That's like 107 to 110-ish, 115 maybe. But I'm not against 90 proof. Standard Buffalo Trace, 90 proof. Eagle Rare, 90 proof. Blanton's, not much higher than 90 proof. So not outside the Buffalo Trace spectrum in any way whatsoever. The nose on this is complicated in a really good way. Super sweet. I get oak. I would hope I would get oak at 25 years, but the oak is far from overpowering. It's just it's sandwiched in there. Like the oak is not the bread. Like it's not overabundant. It's really sweet. It's light fruits, florals, and then it's got like a layer of oak meat. If we're keeping it between the mustard and the mayonnaise, the oak is the meat. Specific notes, it's like fresh cut apples. It's got some caramel vibes and buttery. Salted caramel, maybe butterscotch. Little cigar box on there. And the oak is sweet. It's nice. Like you could go swimming in this one. Yeah, nasally speaking. Just live up in there. Enjoy the fruits. A little pear, like canned pear, very sweet. Just like I said, layers. Good sweetness. Next to no spice. They mentioned cinnamon on the press release. I don't get any cinnamon. It's very Buffalo Tracy. So sweet, floral, oak, which you would expect, and then some lighter fruits. I don't get like the big cherry that I'll get in maybe a Stag Junior, Eagle Rare. Like, it's not really cherry. It's in the apple pear family to me. And then there's some herbaceousness, but not like rye spice. It's more like lemongrass. Fresh. It's fresh. You could even say there's sort of like a citrus spritz in there as well. If you gave this to me, I could see myself telling you that it was a Four Roses LE kind of nose. But one of the additions that was less rye forward. Okay? All right. Let's get into the palate. Chewy viscosity. Chewy vanilla cake. Oaky on the finish. The oak is a supporting element. You know. This, I gotta imagine this barrel, like, let's think about this for a second. 25-year-old Buffalo Trace. This barrel must have been buried at the bottom of a rickhouse. Like, it would have had to stay cool to age that long and not be overpoweringly oaky. The tactile is fantastic. It doesn't really, like, the dryness of the oak doesn't envelop your tongue. It's drippy vanilla frosting. It is kind of buttery. It's got caramel apple. There's this place in like Port Washington or Cedarburg. They all run together. A northern suburb of Milwaukee. It's kind of special caramel covered apple shop. Really bougie, super bougie, but delicious. And some of the funky candy nutty covered apples that they do reminds me of those. This isn't really nutty. Although I could see, like, candied nuts that were like almonds. Candied almonds, because almonds aren't really hecka nutty. Kind of like that. Or caramelized coconut. That'd be another interesting note that I could see you pulling out of this. It's sort of classic Buffalo Trace, but really old and really good. Therefore awesome. Like, it's not a big left turn off the Buffalo Trace profile. But it's like 8 times, or 8 levels. Maybe not 8 times, but 8 levels better. This is what I wish Blanton's would be. So often Blanton's is just underwhelming. This, for a 90 proof pour, delivers a fantastic nose and all kinds of flavor that you can just plumb. Like, you're just marinating in this. Now you gotta ask the question, which I kind of refuse to. You know what? Is it worth $2,500? Just real briefly, no. Is any whiskey worth $2,500 as a hecka rare collector's item? Maybe, because the bottle on this is gorgeous. The whiskey I've had better. Michter's 20 I like better than this, but this is really, really good. Would I pay $2,500? That'd be really. So first, if it was available to me, it'd be really hard to pass up, just because it's so rare, and I'm a whiskey geek. But I would tell you right away, it's not worth $2,500 if you're going to drink it. I know it's worth $2,500 as a collector's item because the secondary market on this particular release is like north of $4,000. I think the 1995 right now is right at $4,000. If you go online, there are stores selling the 94 and 95 release for like $10,000, but who's paying that? Hopefully nobody, but I know somebody is. People who have money to blow. So in short, this is a baller whiskey. It is very, very good. If you just remove price point. If you're just evaluating the whiskey, it's fantastic whiskey. Very good. Drew P. endorses, stamp of approval. OFC 1994, fantastic. Wonderful experience. I'm going to save the rest of this for a celebratory night because now that I've analyzed it, I'm like, I want to save that and just sip it slowly. So that's it, y'all. Hope you enjoyed watching me sip 1 ounce of a bottle of $4,000 whiskey. It's truly a special experience. So again, thank you, Derek, for your generosity. Didn't have to do that. I appreciate it immensely, and hopefully you all do too. It's because of people like Derek that these videos get made. So if you enjoy the video, show Derek some love in the comments. All right, y'all. Oh my gosh. It's pretty good. Pretty good. See you next time on the Droopy Whiskey Show. Watch this Thursday. This Thursday at 8, Brian and I are back. We're back together. The boys are back in town, and we're hitting a blind from Porkins, our boy. So it should be fun. So that's on this channel, Thursday, 8 o'clock. We'll see you there. Until then, just keep it neat, okay? Especially if you're drinking OFC.